Hey everyone, welcome to your last week of virtual summer camp. This week is all about leadership and careers. And part of what goes along with having a career and growing up is money and setting a budget for yourself. So this week we're going to talk a lot about setting a budget and sticking to your budget and what does that mean and what does it look like. We're going to start our budget talk out with a book called Dollars and Cents. It's a Berenstein Bears book. And let's find out what they have to say. Money wasn't a big problem in the Bear family's treehouse down a sunny dirt road deep in Bear country. But it was a problem, at least where Cub's brother and sister were concerned. They knew some things about money. They knew that Papa wasn't made of it and it didn't grow on trees and that they should save it for a rainy day. Papa had told them those things many times. What they didn't know about money was how to manage it. The Cubs liked money. They had liked it even before they knew you could buy things with it. They liked coins better than paper money because you could do things with coins. They liked to roll them. They liked to spend them. They liked to stack them. As they got a little older, they liked to play heads or tails with them. But by keeping their eyes and ears open at the supermarket, the hardware store, and the clothing store, they soon learned that you could do a lot more with money than just play with it. You could buy things with it. This one says that will be $7.50. That will be $9.20. That will be $11.10. This reminds me of last week on our Zoom when we were doing adding decimals with money. You could buy all sorts of things. Ice cream from the Good Humor Bear, rides on the Bucking Duck at the mall, balloons from the Balloon Bear at the park. As times went on, the Cubs learned more about money. They learned the difference between the dollar sign, which was an S with two lines through it, and the cent sign, which was a C with one line through it. And while they were still fond of coins, they learned that you could buy a lot more with dollars. Baseball cards, wedding dress, shouted Papa. You must think I'm made of money. You must think money grows on trees. The Cubs backed away. All they wanted was some green money. All they got was Papa red in the face. Mama had been watching. She knew it was time to calm things down, and she had an idea of how to do it. If you Cubs will excuse us, she said, there are some things I'd like to discuss with your Papa. This reminds me of my kids always asking for things. My dear, said Mama, it's not going to do any good to shout at the Cubs. It's as much our fault as it is theirs that they don't understand money. It's up to us to teach them how to manage money. But how? Asked Papa. I suggest that we begin giving them a regular weekly allowance, she said. Said Papa. That's an interesting idea. Then perhaps they will learn to be more responsible about money. Do any of you guys have an allowance every week? An allowance, said sister. What's an allowance? Asked brother. An allowance, said Papa, is a sum of money that you will get at the beginning of every week. It will be up to you to manage it, to spend it, or to save it as you see fit. The Cubs looked at each other as if they didn't believe him. It seemed too good to be true. And here's your first week's allowance, said Papa. Brother and sister looked at the small pile of money Papa had placed in front of each of them. Then they grabbed the money and were out the front door, down the front steps, and on the road to town faster than you can say weekly allowance. Said Papa. Double, said Mama. Do you think the Cubs are going to spend their money the first day they get it? That's probably what my kids would do. When the Cubs returned, they each had a pile of candy bars, bubble gum, and trading cards. They had spent all their allowance on the first day of the week. And they did the same thing the next week, and the next, and the next. So every time they got their allowance, they were running right out and spending it. Remember, Papa mentioned saving it if they wanted to, but they haven't saved anything yet. It was clear to Mama and Papa that the allowance idea wasn't working as planned, and it certainly wasn't teaching the Cubs how to manage money. The Cubs would quickly eat the candy bars and get tired of the other things they bought. Then they would mope and groan because they didn't have any money left for the rest of the week. Mama, said Brother, I don't think this idea is working out. I quite agree, said Mama. But what do you suggest? A bigger allowance, said the Cubs as one. Possibly, said Mama, but that is something we'll have to discuss with your Papa. Well, let's discuss it with him right now, said Sister. Oh, no, said Mama. Papa is balancing the checkbook. I never interrupt your Papa while he's balancing the checkbook. There he is. He looks a little frustrated. Checkbook, thought Mama. Our checkbook helps Papa and me manage our money. It gives us a chance to think about how we should spend it. It gives us a record of how much money we have spent and how much we have left. Mama went into the kitchen. She rummaged around in the cupboard drawer. It was filled with things she wasn't quite ready to throw away. Among the things were some extra checkbooks that were left over from when she changed banks. But how to explain the idea of checks and checkbooks to the Cubs, she wondered. Mama told Papa what she had in mind. Then she explained the idea of checks to the Cubs. Do you mean you're taking our allowances away? Protested Brother. Not at all, said Papa. As a matter of fact, we're increasing your allowances. But instead of giving them to you at the beginning of each week so that you can go out and spend them before you burn a hole in your pocket, we're going to hold them for you. Then when you want a little pocket money or want to buy something, you write out a check. Here, I'll show you how it's done. First, you make it out to cash like so. Then you put how much it's for in words as well as numbers, so there can't be any mistake. Then you write what it's for on this line and sign it at the bottom and on the back. Then you give it to Mama and she gives you the money and keeps a record. It's that simple. Brother got the idea right away and gave Mama the check for $3 and she gave him the cash. He changed his mind about spending $5, which was half of his allowance, on baseball cards and bought a baseball book instead. Sister changed her mind too. She decided to save her first week's allowance and buy the Beerby wedding dress with her next week's allowance, so she would still have $10 left. Now that's what I call money managing, said Mama and Papa. So y'all, I know it's so much fun to go out and spend money when you have it, but it is so important for you to be able to save some of your money, because there's going to come a time, and you'll understand when you get a little bit older, where you're going to need that money that you've put away. So this week, we're going to focus a lot on how do we create a budget for ourselves and what does that look like. So I'm looking forward to learning more about budgets with you. Now you can get into your packet and pull out Monday's math and get the budget work packet to work on. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Bye.